all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author, The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. I wish StreamYards would not do what it does, because it'll show change your settings randomly. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Hopefully everyone is doing well. I hope that you caught and enjoyed my conversation with Mr. Jeff James from Ask a Brother podcast. I had a good time over there. It's always a wonderful conversation that he and I typically have when we are discussing these issues of the community and other things of that nature. I definitely enjoy collaborating with him. Highly intelligent brother, thoughtful brother. So shout out to him. Hopefully everybody caught that stream. Now, thank you, sweetheart. Now, we got to talk about this Chicago, the thing that's going viral right now with the young lady and her children getting jumped by some kids. Now, for those of you who are from Chicago or know what's going on, they was in the Wild Hundreds. So I think this was like 100 and I want to say 9th or something like that. We call that the Wild Hundreds. That's like south of Chicago. We may or may not describe them as Chicago. It's here, not here nor there. But the Wild Hundreds is just what you think it is. It's notoriously a hood, and it is notoriously like a bad area of Chicago. But it's deeper than we think it is. And this is a situation and a conversation that we really need to have. Parts of the South Side. The South Side of Chicago is really big. So, like, without getting into the geography of Chicago, the South Side is huge. There are some real awesome parts. Well, it's like any other city. It's got its hoods, and then it's got its really awesome neighborhoods that it's got. So this happened in the hood, obviously, in the Wild Hundreds or whatever, where you had school children. Do I need to show the viral video? I don't know that I need to show the viral video. Most people have seen it, where she's walking her children home from school. She's walking her children home from school. We're not even going to play the sound. We're just going to play the video. So this lady is pregnant, quite far along. You can see she's not much bigger than the middle school students that are harassing her and her children. And she is not well, i.e. she has sickle cell, so very weak, not optimal. These children picked with her and her children all the way from the school. She said, walked behind them. She was trying to avoid this whole situation. This is the culmination of a situation that was going on. We're going to stop it there. This was the culmination of a situation that had been going on. She was quite pregnant. That woman has a big old belly. She is pregnant. Oh, she's saying that was a big old belly. I ain't never seen no person with sickle cell have a pregnant belly, but whatever. Okay. So in any case, she is ill. And she was not prepared for that altercation. She said that those children have been bullying her and her children for quite some time. They had made several complaints to the school, and no one helped. No one really did anything for her. There was no real recourse. There was no real solution to that issue. So it culminated into this incident here. So this was not a one and done. This was not just random. They had been picking and picking and picking at this woman and at her children. Okay. So as things unfolded, because this has been unfolding all week, as things unfolded, we had the internet was doing its internet thing, and we had pictures of we had pictures of some of the parents of the little grimlords that was fighting on this woman. Okay. So these are the hyenas who are raising the grimlords that thought it was okay to harass, to bully, and to attack physically a woman and her two children. These are the hyenas right here. You can tell this should not be a surprise at all. The pictures of these women on social media, this should not surprise you. This should not surprise you at all. I mean, just look at it. We already know what kind of household they coming from. Get the details of the story before blurting out stuff. Lady had whole interviews in hospital stating that the extended belly is because of sickle cells. My apologies. I will definitely do that. I will get my story straight before I blurt out things. Is there a way that I can be forgiven? Because I don't want to spread misinformation. If she's not pregnant, then she's not pregnant. Okay. So we shouldn't be surprised at where they come from. Now I want you to take a look at this right here.
Update y'all. I want y'all to meet Kamira. She is one of the children that was a part of the fight at OT Bright School on yesterday. We're just coming live so she can say her piece and take accountability. I won't say too much. And please, anyone that decides to say anything, keep it respectful. This is the child.
We will not keep it respectful. Before we let this go on, she's already trying to not have the accountability that she swears she's trying to have. She's already trying to mitigate. You don't get to choose how people respond to you and that grim lord you raise, fighting a grown woman and 2 children that looked quite a bit younger than them. Because those kids looked like they was, what, 6th, 7th grade tops. The little children, the woman's children, looked smaller than that. That video, I stopped it, but it was quite brutal. They were slamming her and her children onto the ground, onto the concrete. And all of that. So how is it that you are trying to, you want the public to not do too much on this grim lord? She bad enough to peel up concrete with her teeth because you don't have any discipline. There's no discipline for none of them kids at the house. None. We're going to get into that part. No discipline for their children. That's why they thought it was cool. That's why they thought it was cool. They thought it was okay to do that. And they were stupid enough to record it because everything got to go on social media, right? Everything got to go viral. Now that they've gone viral for something heinous that they've done, now you don't want the public to do too much. They finna do a lot. The public finna drag you, her, and the rest of her family members and the rest of the parents or any adults that had anything to do, and how much you failed those kids. And I'm sorry, she don't look like she got no whooping. Do she look like she got a whooping to y'all? She low-key trying not to laugh.
My name is Kamira Grant. I was wrong for
We would have been getting smacked on camera for crying. I'm sorry to pause it. We would have got popped for crying. Because you know what? Our mama would have said you weren't crying when you was hitting somebody. Shut up. Say it again and say it like you mean it. And I mean, you better say it right. Now, what you saying? Don't you start crying. I'm going to give you something to cry about. Don't you do that. Straighten up. Straighten your face. Because you wasn't crying when you was out there acting a fool, embarrassing me. So you embarrass me, I'm going to embarrass you. Come on. See, we either got popped for that. Trying to cry? I want you to say it with your chest how you was outside trying to fight for.
Happy.
It's okay, come on.
Happy for everything that I did. And I was just being a follower, following everybody who don't even got nothing that I got. And I apologize for everything because
It's okay.
I gotta go through so much. But I wish I would never did what I did.
Do you have anything to say? I think her name is Shauna.
I was a bit people think
Do you have anything to say? I think her name is Shauna.
I was a bit people think somebody I'm a different person than that.
I think everybody, we've all seen the video. Everybody's been sharing it. The public outcry is definitely there, and we're all on the same accord that it was. We want. I think more so than anything, we want everybody to understand that this is a child. All of them children that was in that video was children. Some of them, not all of them, may have families, but this baby here, she has a family that cares, that loves her, that has held her accountable. She understands what is going on, and I don't expect her to speak. We do not expect her to speak as we are going to speak because she's a child. What grade are you in, Kamira?
8th.
She's in 8th grade.
What grades do you get?
A's and B's.
I don't care about none of that.
And
listen, let me pause that right there. We don't expect her to speak how we're going to speak because she's a child. She's 13 years old. At 8th grade, you're 13 years old. You know a lot. If she's an A and B student, then she's articulate enough to stand 10 toes down how she was standing when she was hitting people on camera. Now she don't know how to talk intelligently. Y'all have sat there and given her the excuses. You was a follower. No, not a follower. No, that's not going to fly. That is not going to fly. I was being a follower. See, we got whooped for that. We used to get whooped for that. So you was just doing whatever folks was doing, huh? That wasn't no excuse. See, when we was coming up, it wasn't no such thing. If you got caught up doing some foolishness that you knew your mama taught you better than that, and she catch you, or you was caught engaged in some foolishness, and she knows she taught you better than that. Listen, the way in which you was finna be punished was not finna be no one time. It was not about to be no one thing, no one time thing. You was finna feel the wrath of that for a minute. You was about to feel the wrath of that for a minute. You needed to walk on eggshells for quite some time with your mama and your daddy. Eggshells for a minute there. You bet not say nothing. So you being a follower? So I raised the follower? Huh? You stupid? You stupid, you do everything that them little raggedy kids is doing? So what else is you following? What else is you following? What? See, these kids nowadays, them mammies that's raising them, too busy trying to be their friend, too busy trying to be, in cahoots with the kids. Them your good girlfriends. You don't want to hold. This is how women grow up. This is how women of today who are grown don't take accountability because they're not forced to take accountability as children. When they do things, that's when you're supposed to learn accountability. When you do wrong and you are held to a standard, you know exactly what you did. You knew it was wrong. You knew I taught you better than that. You knew that is not anything that I have ever said that it was all right to do. And how dare you misrepresent this family? How dare you misrepresent me at that school like that? And we'd have been marched to that woman's house, marched to her house. You better hope she accepts your apology. You better hope so. Because we'd have been getting beat on and popped and smacked until all the way there. Straight in your face before we get over there. Don't you sniff. You wasn't sniffing when you was fighting. Get it together. Wipe your face. Would have knocked on that woman door. Is this the lady? But they would not do that because this woman had been complaining about those children for quite some time. And I know that word got back to the parents of those children prior to this incident. So not only did the school not do anything, the school did not step in any reputable way, in any effective way, and the hyenas at the house didn't do it either. That'd be all right. She better leave my child alone. You got to leave mine alone. Mine make A's and B's. And because you heard what the little girl said on the video. I'm following people that don't get what I got. What that got to do with anything? You don't have anything. Whatever little piece of money your mama got, that's the money your mama got. You ain't got nothing. What do you have? Nothing. But they done spoiled her. So now she's entitled. They done spoiled her and made her entitled. You can do what you want to do. Because your mama got a couple of dollars.
I was homecoming queen. I'm the captain of the cheerleading team.
And you know that.
And I know I'm a better person than what I was yesterday. And I can make a difference.
And you will make a difference, right?
I will make a difference.
Okay. So whoever laughing, whatever that's about, I want y'all to know that this baby, as well as all the other babies that's in that video, are very much our future. So if we laughing at them, we laughing at ourselves. So we want to make sure that we check that and that we be present, and that those people that are not on the ground, those people that are scared of our young kids, that we get out here and we touch them, that we let them know that we hear, that we got something to say, that we care about them, that they have more resources than they know, and that we are available to them.
And know that it takes a village. It takes a village to raise all these kids. This is not just one person's fight. This all.
Are y'all hearing this foolishness? Where the men? It was not a single man in that video. There was not a single man in that video. Where that girl father at? Where her daddy? Where her daddy at? Where's her daddy? Because that's where the accountability and the discipline should really be coming from. Because if you were interested in accountability and discipline, the little mean girl you raising wouldn't have done what she's doing. I'm a captain of the cheerleading team. So you're a mean girl. That's what I heard. Did anybody else hear that? So you're a mean girl. Your mama can afford to give you better shoes and better clothes. You can come with the new mics. You can come to school with this little thing and that little thing, and you got the little new iPhone, and you this and you that, and you the captain of the cheerleading team, and you mean. So you bullies the other kids. You talk crazy to the other little girls. Huh? You're a little monster at the school. Your mama think you some kind of saint because you get them little raggedy grades that you be getting. Them little easy, no child left behind A's and B's you getting. Yeah, I'm downplaying it because she ain't got no character. These are the ones that raise the girls that think education makes them a better person. You're raising a horrible little girl that's gonna be a horrible woman that don't express no accountability, no type of, and full of entitlement. Can't even apologize properly for what I did. What did you do? I apologize for what I did. Too vague. What you do? You apologize for which part of it? What was the part you was doing? Walking behind her talking about it? You was the one that snatched the little girl and the little boy. What you do? Huh? Now it take a village. Not a man in sight, but it take a village. It also take a daddy. Where's the father? Are all these little cretins that y'all done raised? This is what I really want to get to. Because the victim and the perpetrators, I ain't seen man daddy. Because for the victim, where was the fathers of her children? She ain't got no covering. So she was not able to get the results and the protection that she needed with her and her children, because where were the daddies of them kids? Her husband, she don't have one. Far as I know, she don't have one. Or would someone like to correct that as well? Am I wrong on that? Where's the help for this woman? She's uncovered because she doesn't have a man. Because this was far more than this incident. Where was the covering when the bullying first began? When the school wouldn't step in, when the school couldn't protect, when the school dropped the ball, when the administration and the principal and the other parents dropped the ball, no one wants to corral these children and get them in line before an incident like this even occurs. Where was the husband to say, babe, this is getting out of hand? The school's not doing much. You know, I'm having to go and pick up the children and walk from the school to the house. Come walk with us, or maybe come with me to the school, and maybe we need to have a parent to parent, you know, and parent teacher with the other parents to get these children in line, because somewhere somebody's not listening to this. You know, my children are scared. They're getting bullied all the time. They come home with stories. And I don't want them to be scared to go to school and stuff like that. You know, the kids picking with them and all of that. We talking about all of it. We talking about all of it. We talking about all of it. We talking about the Grim Lords that was harassing her and those children. And we are also talking about the epidemic of single motherhood and all of those types of things where the covering don't be there. Is she married to the father of these children? Is she? Because if the father is around and he's involved with her, where was his covering? Not just that day, but all the 2 years leading up to it. Is she married? Because there's a lot of conflicting information. Am I back? Okay, because it went out. Somebody, one of my mods, post an interview with her husband. I'll play it so we can get the straight on it. One of my mods post the video in the chat. I will play it. Because if the father is around and she is not married, she's not covered. Okay, because it went out for me. So my apologies if it went out for anybody else. I'm waiting on my mods to post a video of the interviews. I think I found something. I'm going to try to play the audio because we know how it goes. But let's see. Let's see if we can just play the audio real quick.
There's a mother and her 9-year-old son being harassed and then badly beaten by grade school children while walking near a school. We talked to two leaders of that Chicago community in just a moment, but first, let's go to Mike Tobin live there with the details. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Parents and frankly, people all over Chicago are now kind of horrified and outraged at this video that's not going viral. It has gone viral of a mother and a 9-year-old son who were mobbed and beaten by a group of school-age bullies. Now, the video is a bit brutal, so be ready for that, but it shows this mother and the aggressiveness of the kids increasing as Korshwanda Hatter tries to protect her son. Finally, this mob of youngsters started to strike Korshwanda and her 9-year-old son. They were both knocked to the ground, and the beating continued. Bullied at school for 2 years, and the school did nothing to protect him, so she showed up to walk her kids home. Now, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson did say, he put out a statement on X that he was deeply disturbed and we should not attempt to normalize this type of senseless violence. Chicago police put out a statement saying both victims were transported to Trinity Hospital in serious condition. No one is in custody at this time. The Area 2 detectives are investigating. And Illinois State Senator Willie Preston said this video is a symptom of something that's been going on for a long time, that the kids have not been held accountable and the parents have not been held accountable for the actions of their children. Guys, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much. So our next guests know this family very well. Chicago Councilmember Joseph Williams met with the mom after the attack, and Pastor Corey Brooks, founder of Project Hood, knows the boy who attends his after-school and summer programs. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining the program. Pastor, you know, this is something that you have been working with for years now, trying to stop nonsense like this with our young people. What's going on?
Well, unfortunately, this is the cycle that we continue to see in the city of Chicago, where violence is so rampant and parents are being held unaccountable. And that's the reason why I'm walking across America trying to get people to wake up in our urban areas so they can understand the magnitude of the issues that we're faced with every single day. Chicago is just a microcosm of what's going on across America. These young people are unruly. They have no moral compass. And we need organizations to really work hard to make sure we change the direction of our neighborhoods. If we're ever going to change the trajectory of our young people, we got to catch them early. We got to continue to do the work. But the tragedy is in Chicago right now, we're facing some devastation that has been going on for years, and we need to get a handle on it.
This is what the mother had to say about this incident. Let's play it.
I'm trying to get justice for my son. They fought my son, they hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair.
We haven't held these kids accountable. We haven't held parents accountable. No mother should be that helpless and be targeted by children inside of her own community.
Councilman, where's the fear and respect? I remember growing up, we were afraid of the neighbors because we knew that they was going to get us, and then our parents was going to get us when we got.
Bad for them because y'all already know who it is about everything. But before we do real quick, y'all, as pretty much jump, bro. You slamming the boy head to the knee.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Y'all got something to say? For real. The bullying needs to stop. Parents need to do better. That's why it takes a village to raise kids, not just one person. Because everybody don't get it all. You gonna know.
No, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That's only just prize for y'all. Create. Well, I thought it was just make some money with cars, bro. People are ambushing the website to the point of where they gonna be cool. It's just insane, bro.
And then yesterday, walking home with my kids, they were literally waiting. The way we walked home, just jump all of us.
So now we waiting.
Just to jump all of us. So I asked my kids to come to the next side of the street with me, so they wouldn't get jumped. So we kept walking. They followed us out here. And I have video footage of that.
Yes, we do. Everybody
just
Absolutely.
And you deserve it. How you feel about it? Yeah. They need to be. Mamas need to go to jail too.
I appreciate it.
The mamas love to throw the kids in the garbage.
Right. I'm here. I'm thankful for everybody that came out here. Justice and juvenile.
This is how we come together.
Yes. The father want to say something, y'all. This the daddy. And once we get them out of here, it'll be a better one.
We need somebody from the school out here too. Where they at?
Give her a gift. She's trying to give her a gift. That's something for you, baby.
Blessings, my bro. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's okay. God got you. Oh, this shit is bringing tears to me. Yes.
I'm sorry, I was muted. What you just said is why I assumed that there was no dad. Where's the father? Because why would she be talking? She been uncovered enough, correct? So do my point stand about her not having coverage, or is it proven that there is no coverage? Because every article, every clip that I have seen in regards to this do not mention a husband or a father. It doesn't refer to her as saying her family, her and her husband and her child or what have you was given money by the community. They were moved to a safe neighborhood and things of that nature. Nobody is talking about her and her husband. Every time I watch a clip of her, of them, of anybody speaking on it, nobody says nothing about no man. Not even really her. They introduced him. This is the father. He ain't said nothing yet. And I'm not saying he is or isn't this or that, but we seeing what we seeing. We gonna come back. Let it play some more.
Yes.
I would have hit one of that ass yesterday. I'm fighting with my son. I know.
It's a reflection of the house.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of their house.
They won't want nobody to fight. They don't want that. Why they looking crazy?
Right now, I don't know what to say about it.
That's why I don't discriminate. I be kids and I don't give a
That part. Well, I would have been smacking
No, it's okay. I'm gonna get justice. Oh, Father God, cover her in the name of Jesus. Let no hurt harm her. Hey, Carmen.
Up there, known guy. A little bit more. I'm gonna chop it up because he wasn't speaking the whole way. It was the guy speaking, but he was putting input in, and this is what he had to say about the host, the individual from Chicago. I think his name Dreadhead Cowboy, a real known guy in Chicago, and he spoke a little bit more. I'm gonna chop it up because he wasn't speaking the whole way. It was the.
I see a lot of people keep on asking where the daddy at. Where the daddy at? Where the daddy at? I was at work. She was picking the kids up from school. I did not know none of this shit was going on, man. He can't sleep. He can't sleep. Can't sleep. How's your mental, brother? Just calm down. Just calm down. So what's the plan for tomorrow? Head to the school. Get the parents involved. You come in peace? You come in peace? I'm gonna come in peace. It's gonna be hard. I swear, if I see one of the kids, man, it's gonna make me want to do something. I'm gonna be okay, man. I ain't gonna do nothing. I got your word on that. I got your word. Get my word, man. What they call it over there? What they call it over there? I don't mess with nobody over there. Okay, I'm talking like as far as the area. What neighborhood is that? Around 65th.
No, I'm talking about what they call it out there. Like what neighborhood? The Trumbull Park. Yeah, okay, yeah, I did buy something. So we're gonna try to get y'all out of Trumbull Park. When I say I'm glad this brother definitely calm now, and it took a lot to calm him down, but I understand his pain, but he had time to think about it. And we can't think about the time being. I know a lot of people talking about if it was my kids, my kids, my kid. I understand that. But at the time being, yeah. But now is the time that you can think, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be in jail. I understand you will do this for your kid, but at the end of the day, this will overcome.
Be the little dirty kids too.
We're going to pause it there. Because from what I understood, the person in the video that you can see was not actually the father. It sounds like he was speaking to the father in the background, because he's saying, you know, I'm calm now and things of that nature. So apparently we did not get the father on camera. That is what I understood. When I say covering, I don't mean all the time that you got to be there in the moment that the attacks are taking place. If those children have been getting harassed for 2 years, are we saying that there was no recourse prior to this moment that either of them could have done? Is that what we're saying? Are we saying that in a 2-year span of harassment, bullying, having to report it to the school, having to take extra steps, going to make sure that the children are being picked up personally, you know, you're not trusting them to be able to walk home by themselves without harassment from the children, the other children. You're having to go yourself as the mom to make sure that nothing happens to your children to the best of your ability. You're trying to protect them. So are we saying that in 2 years of harassment and bullying, that there was not a single thing that her and the father of that boy could have came up with to say, we got to get our kids out of this situation some kind of way, because it is escalating. It is not died down. They are still getting harassed no matter what I tell the school, you know, no matter how I tell the principals and talk to the students and talk to the teachers and things of that nature. Nobody's intervening. No one is helping. No one is protecting. We got to either transfer them out of the school or we got to do something else. Are we saying that there was no such recourse prior to this horrific incident that ended up happening? Is that what we saying as a community? Or are we saying that the father is around, she know who the daddy is, but she don't really include him in a lot of what's going on, so he might not have even known that they was getting bullied, or he might not have known the severity. You're going to have to calm down because ain't nobody victim blaming. We're having a bigger conversation than the emotionality of who was wrong and who was right, because we're not talking about who's wrong and who's right. We know that the children, and by extension, the parents of those children who jumped that woman, were wrong. We already know that. I'm having a larger conversation about the absence of the men. This is what rampant single mother households produce. These are the outcomes. So if you don't want to have that larger conversation, you're free to not have it. But this is a conversation that we must have, because where are these men? The common thing that women like to say is that the men are just simply not present. But why are they not present? Are they not present because they're deadbeats and they don't want to be present? Are they not present because the women, as customary in our culture and in our community, many times do not want the men heavily involved with what's going on with the children? They don't live with the moms. The mother and fathers don't live together. He's doing whatever he's doing. He may have the kids on certain weekends or this or that, but other things that are going on, he might not be aware of to the extent that he would need to be aware of it in order to step in with his own solutions to these issues. Because apparently she did not know what to do. She didn't know how to resolve it. This is what I'm saying. This goes all the way back to my original point of her not having covering. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. Because if you have to spend 2 years complaining to the school and the school admin and staff, and those complaints are falling upon deaf ears, no one is effectively stepping in to assist you to make sure that this issue is resolved, that your children are no longer being bullied by these children, that you don't have to come in and take extra measures and things of that nature to try to make sure that your kids can walk from point A to point B without being jumped on and without being harassed. If you have to spend 2 years trying to yell at an administration that is too lazy or too apathetic to do anything about it, and there's no way that if you have covering in the form of a man that is the father of that child or your husband, ain't no way you can't turn to that man and say, baby, you gotta help us. Ain't no way he don't know that that's going on. And that he won't take some kind of measure in a 2-year span to say, you know what, we got to move out of this neighborhood because ain't no way, because my children are not going to be harassed. And I can't be there 24/7 to protect them physically. So I have to do preventative measures for my family to make sure, because if something happened to mine, I might snap. So what we gonna do, babe, is, it might take me a little while, but what we gonna do is we gonna move. So what I need you to do is I need you to find somewhere, where we can go so we can switch schools so our kids can go to another school. They don't got to be in that school. This ain't the only school in Chicago. We can go to another school. 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 We can go to an You mean to tell me in 2 years' time that can't no money be saved to move to another district so they can go to a whole different school and they can start over where they're not being harassed and bullied and potentially jumped on and attacked? So please don't come telling me about what kind of covering she actually had, because ain't no way you had an involved man, father, or husband, and you couldn't turn to him for the covering if he there to provide it. And again, since I don't know the specifics of why he was not there, it strikes me that she simply does not tell him certain things. And now this situation happened, it blew up, it went viral, and now everybody's asking, what part did he play or not play to protect his family? And he's caught off guard now because it's like, I didn't even know that it was going on like that. I would have been got my kids out of there, or I would have showed up at the school and walked them. So this ain't something that just ended up happening and everybody was kind of caught off guard because it was a one-off situation to where, you know what I'm saying, some kids just jumped. No. This had been brewing and culminating for at least 2 years. That's 2 schools years. 2 school periods. So please don't come telling me about what kind of covering she had. Ain't no covering. She was trying to solve it on her own. And she didn't know how to resolve it, because if she had known how to resolve it, she would have resolved it. It wouldn't even get to this point. If she had known what to do, if she had the resources necessary, then she would have been able to do it, but she could not. Now, the Grim Lords that did it, they ain't got no daddies either. Where they daddy at? Just like I just played that clip of her talking about her daughter is a straight A student and she don't want nobody to say nothing about her daughter and this and that little Grim Lord she raising. They somewhere defending the foolishness that they allow their children to do. No accountability for the children because they don't want to be held accountable for what their children are doing. Because I hear tell that the victim is pressing charges not on the children, but on the parents of the children. I say good for them. Good for them. You be held responsible since they are minors and they're under your rule. The foolishness happened under your watch. So you go to jail. You go to jail. You go to jail. You pay the consequences for their actions. That's right. That's right. You pay the consequences for their actions. You take accountability. Because them kids is what, 11, 12 years old at most? The girl said she was in 8th grade, so middle school kids, like I thought. So you go to jail now. Since we can't really put the kids in jail like that, and they still young, let's take you to court. Let you answer for them. Let us examine how your household is structured and why these kids ain't got no discipline and why they don't have any sense. Because you ain't got no sense. Because you still on Facebook and Instagram trying to pose bent over? Huh? That's why they ain't got no sense. That's why they thought it was okay to jump a grown woman and to jump a little boy. So we're going to put you we're going to handcuff you and send you through it. We're going to take you through there. We're going to take you through the court system. Because you ain't raising your kids worth of nothing. They'll be going through the court system. We're going to take you. You're going to be held accountable for what they did. They yours, ain't they? You didn't corral them. You didn't get them in order. 2 years they've been picking on folk. 2 years they've been harassing that woman and her child. And you have not curtailed that behavior at all. Once the first time you heard it, you were supposed to be like, hey, I don't send you to school for that. You better leave that little boy alone. I bet not hear you trying to jump nobody. You better stop that. Let that teacher tell me one more time that lady came up here to complain and see what's going on and see what happened to you. We're gonna see what happened to you. Something gonna happen to you. If I have to hear that one more time, me and you gonna have a problem. But we have this thing now where we don't whoop these kids or discipline the children. The discipline is gone out of the homes because the men are not in the homes. And the women don't know what they doing. The women don't know how to raise kids. These hyenas don't know how to raise no kids. They raising the next generation of hyenas. They are not raising responsible human beings with good character. The men are not as involved as they need to be. They're not married to the fathers and living in cohesive households. Because what mama can't straighten out, we gonna let daddy straighten it out. We gonna let the daddy straighten it out. We gonna see, can he get it straight for you? But we have a rampant single mother epidemic going on in the Black community, and it gives rise to this, which was my whole point. And we're going to keep having incidents like this. We're going to keep having these kids out here acting a complete fool because they have never actually been disciplined by a man. Your mama get mad at you, yelling at you ain't nothing. Them girls ain't thinking about that. And whatever little boys was involved wasn't thinking about it either. Because you ain't got no consequences. You don't even make them have consequences. You don't even make them have accountability and consequences because you don't believe in that. Y'all don't believe in that. You don't believe in it. Because you can't tell me that for 2 years ain't nobody, you just didn't hear about your kids being a whole terror at school. Nobody told you. The principal didn't say it. The teachers didn't say it. You didn't hear it because the kids ain't going to tell you that. So you didn't get a phone call when you went to go pick up the report card. The teacher ain't pull you to the side and say, hey, we've been getting complaints about your daughter harassing this little boy. Now his mama done came up here 2-3 times. Did you know she was doing that? The system promised Black women that they would be your husbands, that they would not only give you snaps and Section 8s and things and benefits like that, but that if you ran into any issues with your children, if you ran into any issues in any of these institutions and things of that nature, that we got you. We have policies in place, we have rules in place that are designed to make sure that children don't get into too much trouble and they don't cause too much trouble. And you know, these are the proper channels that you're supposed to go through when things are not going exactly the way that they should. You know, if children are bothering your children, then you're supposed to be able to come to the teacher, or you're supposed to be able to come to the principal, or you're supposed to be able to climb the ladder until somebody takes responsibility, until someone takes accountability about this. The government told women that they got their back if anything goes wrong. But when something go wrong with these single mothers and the system fail them, and all of these safeguards that they got in place don't work, and when the protocols do not yield the outcome that they told you that the protocol was supposed to yield, they said that if you came to them and you expressed a grievance and you went through the proper channels and you abided by the policies, that we have these policies in place in order to keep everybody in the school safe and everybody to keep this a positive learning environment, blase skippy, blase blam. But when you do not have covering, individual covering of the family unit, of the husband and father of these children, when the system turns its back or when it simply does not function, you're supposed to be able to turn to the father and husband and say, baby, we got to put our heads together and come up with a solution. Because these people is not thinking about this, baby. I done went up there 5 times. No, I'm not going up there no more. We done did it. You and me went up there. Do you remember that last time we had to go up there and they have not done anything yet? Baby, we have to do something. We cannot trust that the school is going to take care of it, because the school is not taking care of it. And you know what he going to say? He going to say, all right, well, this is what we going to do. There's no covering and no guidance and discipline in the Black community. We lost. Folks is running around here talking about, you know, you got to put belt to A. And I agree with that, because that gentle parenting did not work. However, belt to A worked when there was some kind of structure of household also. Back when we was growing up, the 70s and 80s, and even in the 90s like that, your daddy was somewhere. If he wasn't in the house, he was somewhere he could be called real quick to either discipline you or protect you. He was never too far away to be called, notified, and made aware of what was going on. Because the women of that time, even if they ended up not being with the fathers or not too much on good terms, with their husbands or the fathers of their children. They knew when they were overwhelmed. And they said, no. I got to get your daddy in on this. I can't, because they trying to railroad me. They trying to shut me up. They're not helping me. I'm not being supported. I'm not being helped by whatever it is that's going on. Let me call you. I'm going to tell your daddy next time. A matter of fact, let me call him. Yeah, because they keep coming home telling me they being bullied and stuff like that. Now, I done went up to the school, and you tell him everything that you have done to try to remedy the issue, and that has not worked. The school got something to do with it because she had been they were school children. The school that her child was going to, those children had been bullying the child in the school. So the actual incident took place not on school grounds, but she had been complaining to the admin of the school about the behavior of the children in the school. Thank you. That was my whole point. A covered woman would not even waste too much time calling up her husband to deal with them school folks, ignore her about her children. If you can't keep up, don't talk. So if you want to jump into the comment section and pick apart the facts and the point where it was, like I said, I can always be factually corrected. But my point about the lack of covering stands. And I stand 10 toes down on it. Argue with your mama. Argue with a brick wall. The lack of the men, from disciplinary to guidance to protection, all of that, this rampant single motherhood is the problem. That's the problem. You want it to be strong and independent. I'm talking about the collective of Black women. You want it to be not under the covering because you didn't want to be under the authority of no man. But then you didn't stop having babies though. You didn't want to be married. You didn't want to be in a nuclear family, but you wanted to have kids. Then you want to complain that you are by yourself raising kids and how difficult it is to raise these children. And you, meanwhile, those of you who have men who want to be in the child's life, the majority of y'all don't want the man involved in the child's life. You have telling them what's going on. You're not really being forthcoming. You're not really being real about the extent of what's going on with you and the kids. Just like old girl who children died freezing to death in Detroit. Well, I called the daddy, yeah, but did you tell him the extent so he can move? Like I said before, it's bad enough that I would have driven those children to his home, wherever he was at. I don't care if he was holed up in a shack. I'd have drove them kids, his kids, to him and put him on his doorstep. And if he said, well, what you doing? You either keep them and they live, or I have them and they don't make it. Which one do you want? Because that's how bad it is right now. I don't have it. I'm pillar to post. I cannot keep them together. I cannot keep them safe. I cannot keep them warm. And these two is yours. And if you turn your way after that, then that'd have been on his conscience. Well, she did bring them to me. And I said, no. He didn't know the extent of her homelessness. He didn't know the extent of how dire that situation was. So he was lackadaisical about it. I can't take them. You know what I'm saying? Girl. Because she won't say, drop down and come clean. Hey. They not going to make it. You want to bury them or you want to feed them? You want to bury them or feed them? Which one you want to do? And I'd have put it to him just like that. Man, I'm not being dramatic. I am not being dramatic. How did she even, if she tried to make the father aware of what was going on, did she convey to him the severity of that? Or did she herself not comprehend where this could go? Thank you, Hannibal says, sister, you remember the story of Musa alayhi salam and Khidr, as well Khidr, the kid, because he was going to be bad when he grew up. I understand it now. Exactly. I was just reading that story the other day. Thank you, Chief Rocker said, peace. When you get some time, look at my comments from the stream called Woman Sues Her Ex. I left a donation in advance. Thank you. I appreciate that, Chief Rocker. Thank you again, Hannibal said, regarding the person who corrected your blurting, kind words and forgiveness are better than charity, followed by injury, and Allah is self-sufficient, most forbearing. Don't respond to it. Thank you so much. I appreciate this sentiment. Thank you so much for repeating Allah's words and giving a reminder. Thank you, Clock HVAC said, F that respect talk. It's on site with that demon. And again, said my mom would have had my hide that night. Exactly. Thank you, Lord Sinister said we need to bring back old school ways because this would have never happened back in the 90s at all. Not at all. Thank you, Prodigal said Elijah Muhammad said and did take the believers' children out of public schools. That was the first act of separation. Leave Brandon Johnson's schools. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Siobhan. I literally said the same thing about being a cheerleader, mean and nasty little witches. I had flashbacks from high school watching her act sorry. Exactly. Thank you again, Lord Sinister, saying they wonder why Trump wants to take over. Thank you, Jay Jermaine said, for whatever reason, YT is bugging. I'm again I'm against those children for doing what they do. However, she is also part of the problem. Thank you, HVAC said, if I hear that village one more time, Black women, you don't want no village. They do not. They do not. At all. Because they don't want to do what it takes to actually have the village. You know, you need men in that village. Thank you. L.I. said, what happened to that I assumed is that her child had been getting bullied for a while now. So she started walking with them for protection. Exactly. That's what she tried to do. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Jerry Jermaine said, pay attention, nothing but women. Exactly. Thank you, Bernard said, the school to prison pipeline is complete. Black folks talking about sending their Black kids to jail for their own safety. That's crazy. Thank you, Jay Jermaine said, fathers are around. We just aren't around most of the BS. However, responsible fathers will take care of our children. Thank you, Kevin. Said, one time I got in trouble for being a follower, and for a week my parents beat me like a prison guard in the penitentiary. I was good ever since. Yeah. I got my fair share for following up behind. Oh, that's what I seen you in school do? So you stupid? All right. Thank you, Mr. Maxwell said, would the mother have been right to pull out the great equalizer and defend herself and her children against the attack of that mob? I wouldn't have blamed her. Thank you again, L.I. said, that's how children are as stressed as adults because of parents' neglect. And what if that child committed deletion or self-deletion because both parents neglect? Shaking my head. This is pitiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you again, HVAC said, Black women, get out your emotions, sit down and shut up and listen. If not, leave the channel. Thank you, Daniel said, showing support. You cooking on this topic. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Jason said, Black men have been ousted from the concept of Black family in exchange for subsidized poverty. Thank you again. Bernard said, Grimlord is probably bullying the teachers for those A's and B's. They show they got no problem beating on adult women. Exactly. Thank you. Prodigal said, liberal courts will not punish the parents. Who are we kidding? Thank you. Kevin said, Crimson, I have learned so much from you. You're the best. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Charles, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you again. HVAC said, this is the main reason why childless Black men is saying F the kids. Thank you. Deidre said a Grimlord child in the video was talking but saying nothing at the same time, just like the mother. The illiteracy is rising. Hey, twin. So today's females don't realize boys outgrow female disciplinary tactics, becoming grads of the SOHK University, and girls see their young mothers as friends. Testosterone versus estrogen philosophy. And thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate you. And welcome. Charlotte said, for becoming a new member, I appreciate you.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
So I appreciate everybody for coming through. I want to say my apologies if I stated anything that was factually incorrect. So I do apologize for any incorrect information. Okay. But I don't apologize for the point that I was making at all. At all. So jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.